Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm joined by Hasan, the creator behind Shadcn-form, an open source form builder library that's been gaining a lot of attention in the open source community lately. Hasan shares his humble beginnings, helpful growth tips for other creators, and upcoming future plans. So without further ado, let's get into it. Well, thank you for joining. I discovered you about a couple months ago and was very impressed with what you are doing with forms for the open source community. Thought it was really cool. Even your website, you put some stuff together. I was like, man, this guy really, he really took some time to put something together. Um, I'd love to talk to him, see if I can interview him. And
Thank you, thank you. I didn't expect this call, and I'm very happy. I love your website as well. Building a SDK, that's an amazing job. I'm so impressed what you build, and we are the guys who are working with the most boring part of the web, the forms. Everybody hates that, but we are building it and living our lives with that.
it's so true. It's like it's not fancy, it's not sexy, it's not like all these AI stuff, but it's a real problem. It's a vast problem, and people don't want to have to do it themselves. So I feel like we're on the same journey, trying to really help the world with forms.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Nobody wants to do the form job in the company. Some guy needs to, okay, I will do it. And we are these guys.
Yep. Yep. I'm excited to dive into Shadcn-form, but first, for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about you. Background, maybe where you live in, what got you started.
It's Hasan. I'm from Istanbul, Turkey, and I call myself product developer right now, but we can call it as a front-end developer as well, front-end engineer, some companies. And I studied electrics and electronics engineering, but in my second year, I decided this is not my thing. It's not only hard, but it's expensive to build something and to see the results. That's why I jumped to other fields. I tested a couple of new things and I decided software is my thing. Then, like 7 years, I'm building softwares. I start with the design part. That's why I'm also more doing job in the front end. And most of my career sits at the intersection of the design and engineering. Honestly, I like it also. Most of people say it's not engineering, it's not, it's that, but I like it. We can always make difference. That's who I am.
Very cool. You see all these tools online. You got all these people creating these things, one Shadcn-form being one of them, and there's someone behind them with a real life, maybe a family, maybe another job, who knows, but they took the time to build a really awesome tool that really helps the community and helps people all around the world. So it's kind of nice to put a face to that product. I think that this video would be a really cool thing for people to see and maybe encourage other people to do this stuff as well.
What I like, and I just sit my career on top of that. It's from Benji Taylor, founder of Family. He said that taste is maybe the biggest deciding factor in whether a product ends up failing, good or not, regarding how much skill is involved. I definitely 100%, 1000% agree with this quote.
Hmm. Yeah, me too. Okay, so let's start from the top then. What exactly is Shadcn-form and how are developers using it today?
Shadcn-form is an open source form builder for especially Next.js developers. You can use it as a Revit or React developer as well, who wants to build forms faster. I think AI may do it faster, but it's not that I build it AI, it's not that good, but no, AI is faster, but it's a simple form builder. And I can give more technical details. It's built around the Shadcn components, Zod and React hook forms. Right now, last week Shadcn updated the way he built form, and I will update also. We will support 10 stack forms as well.
Very cool. Well, okay, so let's peel back the curtain a bit. How did Shadcn-form start gaining traction and popularity? Was there something particular you did? Was it a collection of efforts? Was it someone just posted about you and you started gaining that traction? Tell me about that.
Yeah, it has a little bit trick. At that time, I might took this explain this story because when I started creating Shadcn-form. I was stuck at home actually because the startup I was working that is not good at that time financially. It's not creating revenue, and I can not see the future for that. It will fail at the end of the day. And in a friendly game, my ACL was ripped, and I just stuck at home. I can barely walk. I feel the pain. I know I will be unemployed soon. And one night I was just searching through the web, exploring new technologies and stuff. I see a very old, like 10 years old form builder. It doesn't look good. I thought I might I might make this better, much better, and people will like it. I just take a screenshot, put it on daily.dev. I love this extension. I read it every day, and it got viral. The viral, I mean 100 likes or 10 comments, something like that. That night, I decided to build Shadcn-form and just made a tweet. Actually, 2 days. It took 2 days to build the base of the application. I just send a tweet, and this tweet goes viral also, like 200,000 views, lots of likes, and then I decided to go it open source. I learned everything from there, and this is how it happened actually. Just one
Very
night.
cool. And clarify, you said you did a second post. You said it got a couple.
First post in the daily.dev, second in the Twitter.
Very cool. So people loved it. And so that gave you that validation and go, hey, let me actually build something because it seems like people really like this or need it. There's a gap in the market. Very cool. I love that. I asked because there are a lot of people maybe that, I guess could use the inspiration or the encouragement and you sharing, a low place in your life where you have an injury, you're not sure about the company you're working with, but you want to do something for the community, for the world, create a product, push forward. Very inspiring. So let's rewind maybe on that subject there. And what originally inspired you or prompted you to build Shadcn-form? Now I know you kind of addressed that already, where you looked at a different product, the didn't look so good. I can build this better. I think
Uses
I know how
Angular,
to.
by the way. It uses Angular, and early in my career, I need to do a form with the Angular for a doctor's clinic. It
Mm.
would like take 50 pages. That was horrible job for that. And we have no AI at that time. I must remind that it was a hell of a job. That reminds me how I struggle doing that job. And now I switched to Angular to React. I love Next.js. I love Shadcn, by the way. He democratized the web development. I think he's one of the most important person in the modern web, I believe. And that motivates me. I can create something so that in the future, nobody can create 50 page of the page form with by hand.
Okay, so it actually started a little bit further back where you needed to build a form system for a doctor's office, you said,
Yeah, yeah.
and and so you did it in Angular, felt the pain, and then so much time later, you found yourself at home, injured.
Job market. One doctor sees that website. Hey, can you do it for me? Another, yeah, I know a guy who can do that. I built it many times, not only me.
Okay, very cool. And how long ago was that?
At that time, 4 years ago, it took a month because you need to
I see.
validate everything because the doctors try to change something and you need to adjust it by hand, and it affects everything. The legal stuff you need to add, and in that they just said, hey, we can go with, no, we can add the legal part, and that's you need to redo everything.
Right, very cool. Do you got any tips for someone who, let's say, inspires to do what you did or to start their own open source project or pursue, I don't know, an idea that they have? Any tips you have?
I can tell my mistakes and the challenges also. I didn't examine a good open source repository before. I need to restructure like 4 or 5 times so that people can use it actually, because it says local dependencies or something like that. It needs to be more easy to read, easy to learn, easy to use. easy to implement also. That's the part you know better. You are building an SDK. Sometimes you just need that small part from there, but you don't want to get the whole part. That's not my case. Definitely examine the good, the best applications like cal.com midday. You can just take a look at and learn how the monorepo works, how they handle that, how this application builds in 1 minute and my single page application builds in 4 minutes. You can learn lots of things from the open source.
Yeah, absolutely. At Joyfill, we're building a form builder that developers can embed into their SaaS products. More complex or interconnected workflows and use cases like that. We know firsthand how tricky it can be. I got a lot of respect for creators like yourself that are tackling these problems. It's not definitely not easy. Seems easy at the surface, but once you really start to peel back the onion and try to create a solution that kind of works, it starts to get a lot more than what you originally or initially expected when you go, hey, I'm going to build a form builder that's better. Then you get all these extra pieces that you're like, oh my gosh, I have to figure this out now. It's just something you handle, take the hit on, and then hopefully offer it so people don't have to do that. So very cool. All right, so let's make this relatable. What were some of the challenges you personally faced while building and maintaining the project? Maybe some lessons learned along the way. Anything you would have done differently? Can you share a little bit about
Not
that?
a lot actually. I think the most beautiful part is building. I like for the first week. I can build everything. I can ship whatever I want. I can just change the layout, tweak a bit, and just for the comments, one DM comes to me and suggest something. If I like it, I can just implement it. That was the great week. The challenge is maintaining, defining a time and creating a good plan. Even the open source project needs a good, really good planning and project management, I think. See, Nuxt is a great example of one of the open source project. He builds it, he maintains it with the kids. That's the hard part actually. I don't have kids, but it still takes too much time, even if you plant or, for example, some library is updated and they can affect your project. You need to watch everything. You need to make sure everything is okay, everything is updated. That's one of the challenges and maintaining and the deciding factor because in the most of the jobs the task assigns to us and the task says what should we do. There are four major versions that I didn't ship because I didn't like it. That's the problem. If it's a business, I would ship them without thinking because that's said in the task description. In this time, I'm checking this is not good enough and I'm just removing 1 month of job. That's also one of the hardest parts. When you make something, it's more matters to you. You want to do the best, especially if it must look good, it must work well, and people mostly should like it. If I don't like it, if that doesn't even match my criteria, I couldn't ship. This is the part I learned from the Vercel. I joined their open source program and we had a couple of meetings. Monetization was one of the most popular question. I live in Turkey. I cannot use Stripe, PayPal, or similar things. The monetization is hard for me. I need to set up my company also in USA or somewhere else so that I can connect them to get money and pay my taxes. This is another side of the job you didn't see as a solo developer. So you need to learn lots of things. You need to have an accountant, you need to learn taxes and legal stuff. I set up a company. I have an accountant right now. I'm learning this part. And the trick is, it's not that easy for me to ask money from the people. It's just the product itself deserves a money. That's a good criteria also. When you build something, you should think that you don't if even if you can, you don't need to put a Stripe link directly because just ask yourself, does it really creates value for the customer or people? This is also another challenge, I think.
Are people supporting you? How are people saying thank you back to you? Have you set that all up yet?
They can sponsor from GitHub. I have a plan, but again, it needs to be valuable thing. It would be always free for the developers. This is my goal, and I want to support this always. It should always free for the developers, but for the customer part, maybe product managers wanted to just use the form builder to collect some forms like the Tally or on another form vendors, or they don't want to spend so much time building on the forms. They just want to give a widget for the developers and they can just use the code or widgets in their applications. That will be the monetization paid part, but the builder and getting the form, creating form, always free.
Very cool. Yeah, that's kind of the open source way is, you're giving a lot for free, if not all of it for free. But at some point, which is kind of a lot of motivation around our doing these interviews with open source creators, is that there's a lot that goes into what people are using and finding valuable every day that they don't realize that creator went through, or what they're doing every day to maintain it, or the time they're spending away from doing other things in order to provide such a well thought through, well supported, well built product that saves everyone else time using it. I like to touch on these videos, giving credit and exposing, and maybe even this provides additional support to you and the creators who are behind these really awesome open source projects. If I haven't said it, thank you for all that you're doing, you and all the others out there.
I want to add the lessons I learned for the open source developers who want to create. Be prepared for the bad comments. I don't know I don't understand that, but you will always face them. Even it's free, people will tell bad words. Just ignore them. It's the nature of the world, I think. Just accept that. Be prepared to be copied. It's a good sign. That means you have done valuable job. It has potential. Go add on top of that. It's also nature of the coding. Accept it. Don't do any fight. Just go. Just continue to create. Learn to be organized. Use app. Try as many things as you can reach. Also, you can learn a lot of things from the different application. And while try to be organized, just ship, don't overthink, but be smart about it. Just a little difference between that shipping everything and being a little smart, it saves you a lot. And be kind to people, because this is the best part for me, the open source developer. I met lots of people and I really had lots of friends from there. After sharing one tweet, I talked with like 1,000 people and I now daily talk with them, 10 of them. You can create new community around you. You can make new
Wow.
friends. It's so good.
Looking ahead, what does the future hold for Shadcn-form? Any upcoming features, directions you're excited about?
First of all, as I told you, I had 4 major versions that I didn't even release. But in these versions, I learned how to integrate AI. As a developer, you can bring your own key as so that you don't have to pay me. You can just pay your AI provider and use the form builder and get your forms whatever you like. This will be a thing. The people can use AI also. I didn't count it, but as a code base, it's now 1/3 of the original one. I just can get rid of lots of codes and it do the same job much faster. For tests, it says 50 times, and I couldn't believe it's just not noticeable for us, but it's good for the computers, I think, who wanted to serve us. And new components, new templates also will be in the way. Since I'm in set up my business and I'm working so much on invoices or some kind of stuff, these templates will be available also. You can just create money-based stuff as well, not the classical one. Authentication, everybody do that. We can add that, improve that, but the other part, the other templates that nobody will do will be implemented as well so that people can use it inside here.
Sometimes you want to get it out there, you want to do a good thing, but sometimes there are those critics that
Yeah.
are out there and they kind of create like this discouragement without maybe knowing they're doing it. They're just trying to help or steer you, and their tone just comes off as vague through the screen. However, they took the time to tell you they tried it or are using it. So I say any feedback is good feedback. I think it's great advice to say, hey, just don't get down, keep your head forward, stay focused, don't get discouraged, and keep building forward. Okay, so before we wrap it up, open source projects like this are never built alone. Who would you like to shout out or give credit to among the top creators or community members helping push Shadcn-form forward?
I'm a bit closed in that topic. I mainly ship, but lots of people also joined or just create tickets for me to build them. Thank you to all. But I can start with the Shadcn himself because he's the one. He opened that door for us. And I got components from Ömer Alpi. He's a Turkish developer as well. He has great components, and Bika has lots of great form components as well. I asked them, can I use them? And they directly accepted. I implemented it. They saved, I think, tons of times for lots of people. I love them. Also, I want to mention OrgDev, Maxim, and Pavel. These are the friends I made with building that stuff. I learned lots of from them. We are talking with them. They always criticize in a good way. I learned really lots of while we are talking every day.
Awesome. Great. I'll get their handles and information from you. Make sure I have the right spelling and anything after this call. That way I can post them in the description and give them credit and a shout out. Let them know that their boy Hasan gave them a shout out. So awesome. Well, Hasan, thank you so much for joining and sharing your story. For everyone watching, if you haven't already, go check out Shadcn-form on GitHub and show your support. I'll share the link in the description below as well. Hasan, thanks again, man. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, John, again.